Hey guys, Mike here. So today I'm talking about Palantir stock and SOFI stock, and you guys tend to like these weekly updates. I'm going to continue to do them as long as you want them. We're going to go over the news, both charts, what's pushing these stocks down. We're going to get to hear from the CEO of Palantir, who rarely speaks publicly, but he tends to speak publicly when the stock is going down to try to stabilize it, and it tends to work. So we'll see if it works this time. And then we'll go on some other important data that I think is important to know if you're a long-term investor in these two stocks. So if you're getting out of it, just hit the like, subscribe button down below. I really appreciate that, guys, and share the video. And so let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it, starting with Palantir. And so starting off with Palantir stock chart here, as you can see, it's still on a downward trend. Overall, it only dropped around 2% last week. It was a short week, of course, and of course Friday everything dropped. And so if you look though, the key here is an important level it breached. That was a key support level at 21.18. It has not been this low since May, and if you go back even farther, not till last November. So that was a key support level that is still, and it tried to get back through it, but it got rejected. And so that is going to be a key level to watch this week, because that's going to decide whether they're going over 21 or back to 18. Now, the important thing to remember here is it's not just Palantir. You can see this is their competitors. Snow over the last month is only up 6%. AYX is down 11%. Palantir is down 18%. Splunk is down 25%. And then we pull it into the 5-day chart. You can see that Palantir is only down 3.5%. AYX is down 6.64%. Snow dropped almost 8.5%. And then Splunk is down 9%. So overall, high growth stocks, especially in this area, are trending downwards right now. And of course, when you see this happen, especially the Palantir stock, as soon as it starts to sell off, especially in the double digits, the institutions show up in droves. As you can see here, the bars are the institutional buying, the line is the stock price. And as the stock price dropped in November, institutions absolutely have been loading up on it. And one reason for this is, guys, really it has to do with, I think, what they see is happening with Palantir as far as their commercial contracts, because they were always getting beat up by analysts about how they were so dependent on the government, and they still have massive government contracts. But you can see right here, if you look at the 3 months ended September 30th, comparing quarter to quarter, you see a big increase in the commercial revenue. As far as going back to the 9 months ended September 30th, comparing year and year, you can see right there, nice big increase. And of course, a big catalyst to growing their commercial revenue is the amount of money they're investing in other publicly traded companies. They've pledged over $400 million to do this with. They've already invested over $200 million in other publicly traded companies in all different areas, whether it's AI, EV, or whatever. And so, you know, that's really helping them out, because those companies have also became clients. And if you look at some successful companies so far that have done this, you're looking at Alphabet, which is the parent company of Google, Shopify, Tencent, and others have done this as well. And it's worked out for them so far. So hopefully it will for Palantir as well. And that's the roadmap they're going down, at least. And so now what I want to do is take you through what the CEO said, because obviously there's been some big bills coming out of the government which could benefit Palantir, as you're going to hear right here.
Alex, you stand to benefit, Palantir stands to benefit as a result of this infrastructure bill. Also, potentially this Build Back Better bill in terms of some of the climate components of it. Are you an advocate of both?
Well, definitely on climate. I mean, you know, it's the first of all, obviously, in general, macro trends are macro trends that we thought would happen with some surprises. But what in climate, it basically helping people to understand at a granular level the exact carbon footprint they're carrying in a way that's transparent is similar, structurally similar to what we've been doing in the anti-terror context, in the sense that you have to granularly track things, variables that are across large data sets that are very hard to track, and have to be done in a way that's transparent so that third-party, non-technical people can understand what you're doing. And that's obviously something that, you know, Palantir, our products were built to do. We have a lot of experience in industries that are creating a carbon footprint, and we're, I think, well ahead on product developments that will be critical in that area.
And so, you know, every week I like to at least bring some tidbits of information that maybe you don't know about Palantir. You know, look at what Palantir has been doing with their balance sheet. They've been doing really well. Showed you this last week for those who didn't see it. And, you know, the one thing they're really working hard on is their liquidity. All right, and so, you know, you look at that with their current ratio, right? Current ratio is around 4.17, which is an increase from a year ago where it was like 2.53, and it just absolutely kills the industry averages, which was like 1.47, I believe it is. And so all this means is they can easily pay down their short-term liabilities. Remember I showed you last week, I believe it's 3-to-1 assets to liabilities, and they got plenty of cash on hand, so that's a good thing. And of course, another thing is the debt to equity ratio for them is 0.12, debt to assets is 0.08, and all this simply means is the company is funding their growth with their own capital versus taking out a lot of debt, which of course would incur interest and other expenses they have to worry about. And so that's what's making their financials look even better now. And so these are things to keep in mind. You know, when you're talking about Palantir, it's still, you know, rich valuation. Yeah, it's still rich valuation, but, you know, it's not as rich as some of their competitors, that's for sure. And so, you know, I encourage everybody to go look at Snow and some of these other ones and say, oh, okay, yeah. I mean, if you look at what their growth is, revenues, and you look at what their price to sell and all those ratios are, you might be a little surprised when you compare it to Palantir. So it's something to keep in mind as well. And so hopefully, you know, let me know your thoughts on Palantir and where you're at with that. And so the next one we're looking at is, you know, SOFI. And of course, starting off with SOFI's chart, you can see last week they dropped another 12% since the last video I did. And as you can see, they bounced off that key support level of 1750, which is a good thing to see. And one thing causing this sell-off is all the informative sales you see right here over at our friends at TipRanks here. You can see it's close to $1 billion in stock sold from the last 5 to 7 days, and these are informative sales, which leads people to believe they actually know something, being that it's not uninformative. That is a big difference there. And most of these are from directors, as you can see right there. And if we go back to the chart, you can see this is when they sold right here. It was like the 18th and the 22nd, and right before that big drop off. And so it could be a coincidence on the timing there. Maybe it's just plain old luck, or maybe they actually knew something was coming out. Who knows? But just like with Palantir, you can see right here, you know, fintech companies are selling off like crazy right now. Over the last month, Square is down 18%, PayPal's down 22%. Then you look at the last 5 days, you got Square down 6%, PayPal down 6.5%, SoFi's down almost 10%. So fintechs are just getting hit all the way around. But of course, it's not just fintech, it's really high growth stocks, because people are worried after, you know, Jerome Powell got reelected to actually keep his seat for another 4 years, that, you know, they're going to raise interest rates earlier now. And of course, that will hurt growth stocks. And, you know, the fintech's a little different because it'll hurt them because they're high growth stocks, but also help them, especially SoFi, because you'll be able to lend at higher rates and make more money on that. So it's kind of a double-edged sword with them. And the thing to keep in mind about SoFi is, you know, they do the flywheel method, right? This is the key to their growth. And for those who've never seen it, this is the flywheel right here. And basically all it means is cross-selling, right? So their financial division is the one that brings in the money, even though it loses around 20 to 40 million easy. It's what kicks off the cross-selling, which the biggest ones of them are credit cards. They got about 65,000 members in credit cards now. And the investments, which about 1.2 million members are in right now. And you have to keep in mind that even though the financial services division loses money on a regular basis, it's the key component that helps them grow the revenue so fast, because it is the starter for the cross-selling, right? And each member, I believe, has about 3 different services with SoFi, or 3 different products. And so that's the key for them right there. And, you know, you got to keep in mind the great quarter they just had. They had that with their original and what used to be their biggest product, student loan services, cut in half by 50% last year because of the deferments from the government on student loans. And so 2022 coming up, that should end in January. We'll see. You never know. But if that happens, you're talking about bringing back at least 50% of the revenue going into next year on student loans. And as you can see right here, they're doing a great job of increasing people refinancing and taking student loans out with them with their cross-selling. You see the percentages increasing from Q4 2019 to Q4 2020. And then, of course, that was cut by 50% once the deferments kicked in 2020, 2021. And the reason why this is so big, guys, if you ever wonder how much student loan makes up for an individual in this country, this is household debt in America. It's around 14.56 trillion. So yes, we are in a lot of debt. That is how our economy works. And what is the second largest debt in a household? Student loan debt. Not credit card debt, not auto loans, not anything else. Right behind the mortgages is your student loan debt. It's about 1.56 trillion in this country right now. And of course, other things they're doing right now that's going to help them in 2022 as well, and Q4, is they are increasing the types of investments you can have on SOFI. And of course, one big one for them is they see where the writing's on the wall, so they've increased their cryptocurrencies choices up to 30 now. And they picked some pretty popular ones like Avalanche, Cardano, Cosmos, Mana or Decentraland's a big one. Even got Dogecoin on there, Polkadot, and so Matic's another one. And so they know those are very popular right now. And you see another thing, if you look on Google Trends, I like to look on to see how popular something's getting. You can see since May, all they've done is basically trend up just like a stock chart, showing, you know, people are searching for SOFI, the term, right? That's why they say their marketing campaign is working. And of course, as always, guys, every week I will try to keep you updated on the bank charter. I looked everywhere for any information on this to see if this court case is, you know, making its way through or gotten any news on it, and there's nothing there yet. And I think like the CEO said last week, they've pretty much done everything on their part at SOFI. It is in the government's hands, but because they have got leadership changes there as well. And the one thing he never mentions is the court case, so I'm assuming since he never mentions it, maybe there's a chance it wouldn't tie it up or anything. So we'll have to see on that. I find that hard to believe since that's basically the basis for the case if you look at it, that it was an illegal acquisition of the bank. And of course they can't have a bank charter without actually having a bank. And so I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, so if you know, let us know, but I can find anything on that for you guys. But of course that's the big one, right? If they get that, it's the game changer. It's going to help them hold deposits on the balance sheets and take that money and lend it out to customers and stuff. So that's the key. And they can lower the interest rates as well and be even more competitive. So never forget that. And that's a big piece of the puzzle when it comes to SOFI. And so, you know, let me know down in the comments what you're doing right there. The good thing is it did hold that key support level. We'll see what happens next week. Next week is up in the air. Monday's a big day to see, are we going to continue on what happened Friday and all the fears and everything like that? And or are we just going to go back to business as usual? Because a lot of people are still expecting, and what usually happens every year is a Santa rally. And so we'll see if that happens. And stocks usually end up for the year. And so we'll see. I hope you got some out of it. Hit the like, subscribe button if you did. Really appreciate that. Share the video. And never forget to hit that link down there in the bottom. Sign up for a BlockFi account to earn 9% on your Stablecoins, 9.5% on your Tether, and 4 to 5% on your other cryptocurrency, as well as earn the 1.5% back on Bitcoin for every purchase you make on that credit card, guys. I will see you later.